What if 5 ordinary-looking American coins were hiding something collectors would never want you to miss? In this video, we're looking at 5 coins with completely different histories, and one tiny detail on any one of them could make the difference between face value and serious collector interest. We're going from a classic Mercury dime to a World War II-era wheat penny and a famous Virginia state quarter. But don't judge these coins by their appearance. One of them may have a story that goes far beyond the number stamped on its face. So before you decide these are just old coins, watch closely because the smallest detail could be the most important one. Now let's take a look at the 1921 Mercury Dime, one of the early issues of this iconic American coin series. At first glance it may look like a small worn piece of silver, but 1921 is a date collectors immediately recognize. The Mercury Dime series began in 1916, and the early years contain some of the most desirable dates in the entire series. The 1921 issue is particularly interesting because production was relatively low compared with many later Mercury Dimes. And here's what you need to check: the mint mark. A 1921 dime without a mint mark was produced in Philadelphia, while a tiny D indicates Denver and an S indicates San Francisco. Condition is also extremely important. Look at the date, the bands on the reverse, the wings, Liberty's hair, and the overall surface. If you happen to have a genuine 1921 Mercury dime with strong remaining details, don't clean it and don't assume it's ordinary. This little silver coin could deserve a much closer look from a serious collector. Next is the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin produced during the final years of World War II. Millions of these pennies were made, but that doesn't mean every 1944 wheat penny should be ignored. During the war, copper was still being used for cents again after the unusual steel cents of 1943, making 1944 an interesting year in Lincoln cent history. Start by checking the date and then look underneath it for the mint mark. Philadelphia cents have no mint mark, while Denver carries a D and San Francisco carries an S. But here's where collectors become especially careful. The 1944 date can be confused with certain famous wartime varieties, so authenticity and the exact characteristics of the coin matter. Examine the color, surface, lettering, and especially the possibility of unusual errors or varieties. Most 1944 wheat pennies are not worth a fortune, but an exceptional condition coin or a legitimate rare variety can be much more interesting. So before you toss that old wheat penny into a jar, give the tiny details a closer look. And now we have the Virginia state quarter, a coin that looks familiar to millions of Americans but carries an important piece of American history. The reverse celebrates the 400th anniversary of Jamestown, and features the 3 ships associated with the settlement: the Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery. Like most state quarters, ordinary circulated examples are generally worth around their face value. But collectors don't stop at the design. They examine the date, mint mark, condition, strike quality, and any possible mint errors or unusual varieties. Look closely at the ships, lettering, rim, and surface. A dramatic mint error or exceptionally high-grade example can attract significantly more collector attention than a normal quarter. So if you have a Virginia quarter sitting in your change, don't assume every example is valuable, but don't ignore it either. Sometimes the interesting part isn't the state shown on the coin, it's the unusual detail that shouldn't be there.